Snakes are some of the most adaptable creatures on Earth, and it seems each species has some kind of superpower. Whether it's the bright threat display or a highly venomous bite, snakes seem to know just what to do in order to avoid predation or catch prey of their own. But here in the sandy, arid regions of the United States, there's a snake with an ability that makes it notoriously hard to catch or even photograph: speed. I'm Mikey Green, and my goal is to show just how little we really know about the strange creatures living their hidden lives all around us. Today we are exploring some scrub habitat in South Florida in search of the speediest snake in the States, the Coachwhip, a species that, while I have seen it before, has managed to evade my grasp for years due to their lightning-quick speed. After so much time looking alone, I decided to call for some help. Meet Emilio from the channel Animal Encounters, a man who can wander off and come back with the most insane creatures in his hands. With double the amount of eyes now, we should be able to track down one of these elusive scrub-dwelling snakes. We're out here in the deep wilderness, the middle of the Florida scrub, out in the middle of nowhere, far from any touch of human civilization. As you can see, we are truly in the heart of the Florida wilderness. The Florida scrub is infamous for being one of the toughest places to target wildlife here in the state of Florida. After all, it's practically a desert, and with barely any cover and endless reflective white sand, a long hike in the hot scrub can prove to make for a tiring adventure. After a while of searching, and even finding a Coachwhip that disappeared right after we saw it, with no footage to show for it, we thought luck was starting to run out. But it seemed that Emilio's wandering power leaked into me when I finally spotted a black and brown snaky figure out in the distance. I cannot believe I'm holding one of these right now. This right here is a snake that I wanted to feature here on this channel for so long. This is the Eastern Coachwhip, a beautifully patterned snake that also just happens to have a very special secret. So let's take this to a better spot and learn all about this incredible snake species. All right, this right here is a snake that I have wanted to feature on my channel since the day I started it. This is the Eastern Coachwhip snake, which is a subspecies of the Coachwhip, a species of snake that can be found all throughout much of southern North America. And there are actually many different subspecies that can be found throughout that range. This one, of course, being the Eastern Coachwhip, which can be found in southeastern United States, specifically in exactly these kinds of habitats here behind us. These kind of scrub habitats, as well as sand hills, pine flatwoods, similar dry habitats with lots of dry pine litter on the ground, short shrubby oaks, pine trees, white sand, very little moisture. And that habitat preference is exactly where this subspecies' color pattern comes from. Now, while Coachwhips throughout their range can come in a variety of different patterns, for example, the bright pink ones out west, out in like Texas and other areas of the southwestern United States, these ones have this very specific pattern where their head is a jet black color and it does a gradient towards a more brownish color. Now, even here in Florida, there's more color variation than this, but they follow this specific rule of being darker towards the front, lighter towards the back. So the reason that the ones here are colored like this is that way they can blend in with the ground. Now, these scrub areas that they live in are often subject to wildfires, which means that a lot of the wood in these kinds of areas are burnt. So a lot of times the ground cover you'll see is not only reddish brown from the dead pine leaves, but also black from charred pine wood. That is exactly what this color pattern is helping them blend into.
It's a crazy adaptation.
Yeah, beautiful camouflage on these. And even some of the pine needles have a little bit of reddish on them, no problem. Look at the beautiful red speckles here on the bottom, as well as on the sides around here. The reason that they have to be nice and camouflaged is that way they can search for their prey. Now, Emilio, what do these guys eat?
Well, these guys are gonna use their incredible speed and very sharp eyesight. As you can see, they have massive eyes for a snake of this size to spot their prey during the day because they are diurnal. and they'll chase it down and grab it. They are opportunistic predators, which means that they're gonna hunt down pretty much anything that fits in their mouths, whether that's small mammals, insects, amphibians, reptiles, and other snakes, including venomous snakes such as rattlesnakes.
That's right. And while it isn't clear if, like some non-venomous snakes that do eat venomous snakes, that these coachwhips are resistant to their venom per se, but it is known that they can and will eat venomous snakes.
They use their great speed to avoid a strike from a venomous snake.
So they don't really need that resistance, and like I said, it's unclear if they even have it, like king snakes and other snakes might. Now, like Emilio said, there are 2 adaptations besides their camouflage that they use to be able to catch their prey. Number 1 is their eyesight, because these black racers, other closely related snakes that have a similar hunting strategy, have disproportionately large eyes compared to their head size. Some of the largest eye size to head size ratio of any snakes here in North America. And that is because these are broad daylight hunters that rely on their vision more so than their smell than other snakes to be able to catch their extremely varied diet, just like Emilio said. But their vision, their incredible vision, is far from the only adaptation that helps them find their prey. Once they lock their eyes on a target they want to eat, they then use their incredible speed to catch up to their prey and eat it. These are the fastest snakes here in North America. And while estimates of their speed are relatively unclear, you don't need a number to know that these things are fast. The amount of times I've seen one of these and not been able to even get a photo is incredible.
So the fact that he caught it is extremely impressive.
These things are non-venomous, so their bite is not a very reliable way to defend itself from predators. So, unsurprisingly, the same methods that these snakes use to catch their prey is also the same methods they use to avoid predators. Their speed, their incredible vision, and their camouflage. But there is one more trick up their sleeve for when none of those 3 work. And it is actually super interesting and has to do with sound.
So actually, they're gonna vibrate this long tail they have and move it around like a rattlesnake. They don't have a rattle per se, but against the dry leaves we have here, it does make a pretty loud sound when they rattle it very fast.
That sounds very similar to a rattlesnake, or even those cicadas that are buzzing all around us that just won't shut up.
So out here, what can eat a coachwhip? Like, what are their predators?
So out here, there are plenty of large birds that would be willing to take down a coachwhip. Now, actually, we're in the season of the swallow-tailed kites right now, and those are not quite snake specialists, but those will eat a snake, and they're very likely to be able to catch snakes. But there are also plenty of hawks, like red-tailed and red-shouldered hawks. I've seen bald eagles here. Pretty sure there's other things like coopers and sharp-shinned hawks. Plenty of birds of prey that would be willing to take down a coachwhip. Now, I'm pretty sure also larger snakes would be able to take down a smaller coachwhip, although this is a pretty large, impressively sized coachwhip. So maybe a predatory mammal out here would be able to take down one of these as well, but my bet is the #1 predator out here of these coachwhips are hawks, kites, eagles, stuff like that.
I would agree. Now, even though it is quite impressive in size, they can get bigger than this. They can grow up to 8 or 9 feet in length.
That is insane.
They're not nearly as heavy bodied as other snakes you're gonna find out here in Florida, such as like the indigo snake.
Or the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. What an absolutely gorgeous snake this is. I just love finally being able to hold one of these snakes. These things are so fast, they keep evading me. But finally, I have one in my hand. I'm talking about it to you. You're looking at it too. That's right, look at the camera, look at the camera. The snake is watching you too. In the general vicinity of the area where we caught this snake is where we're going to release it, just to make sure that it doesn't go towards the direction of those roads in the railroad over there. We don't want this snake unnecessarily getting injured.
Yep.
We want it out in its natural habitat so it can hunt coral snakes, perhaps? Like we are, maybe, maybe not. Except not to eat them. I'm not gonna eat them. I don't know about you.
I mean, I'm not gonna eat the coral snake, but I will eat the coachwhip though.
I'm just completely honored to be holding one of these amazing snakes. This is one of the most unique snakes out here in Florida, the only member of their genus. Nothing else quite like these snakes. Bueno, muchachos.
Hasta la próxima.